Okay, I'm back in segment 4 of the lye soap. We're gonna start cutting the soap now. I've milled the rest of the loaves so they're clean. Um, what I try to do is I try to make all my soaps uniform in size. I've seen some people that hand cut it, and that they get a large variation from a big chunk to a thin slice, and basically as it comes out of the mold, they'll just chop it up. And I try to make mine finished so it looks like it's store bought. Usually, if you're paying a premium price for a product, you want something that looks like it was professionally done, and that's my goal. And what I do is I take all the waste product and then I try to use it somewhere else, and generally it ends up washing my clothes for pennies compared to what I normally spend on commercial detergent. Well, anyway, I've got my cutter set up. Now let's go through this because this soap is a lot tougher, and I may have to really bear down on the cutter to get it to go through. Where the vegetable soap is really soft and it just takes light pressure, this one I really got to put a little force on it. I've got my soap, it's all cleaned up, it's all smooth. There's a little bit on the edges that I missed, but to get that off of there, I'd really have to cut it down, and that makes the bars a little bit smaller in size. I just set it on here, and I center it. I try to leave about a 1/4 inch on this side, and then I have a little bit less than a bar. I don't know if you can see this, but the wire is right here. I'll get my knife on here so you can maybe see. Just about a 1/4 inch short of a full bar. I'm putting about 70 pounds of pressure on that. The other soap's about 10 pounds and it push it through. I've got just a thin sliver. And I've got one piece here, it's an end piece. And I usually sell them just at a discount. I don't trim the edges, it's just a raw soap. You can see that the bars are very, very nice and uniform. It cuts them very nicely. It leaves a burr on there that I have to shave off. The reason I hold my hand on the little trimming on the end piece, because you can see this, I don't know how well you can see it, but the wire tried poking through it. You can see where the wire tried to come through the piece. And if you don't hold your hand on there, you get a wavy end piece. This distance here is fine, where I may just run it across that plane and just scrape it a little bit. just a little 3/16 piece. You can see the end trimming is fairly close. Trying to make sure you can see it here. But it's about 2/3 of a normal size bar. Just depends on the mold size. I'm just trying to get this done so you're not just watching me use the cutter and stacking the soaps out. That's actually better than going to the gym. Now I've cut 60 units. You see that there's quite a bit of labor involved with this. It's not just mix it up in a pan, pour in a mold, and then slice it. There's actually quite a bit of work to this, and this lye soap made with the animal fat, it's a lot harder to work with than the vegetable soap. You'll see a lot of people doing the vegetable soap. They're doing the craft type stuff. Take a piece here and they'll shave some little curls on the top, and it'll be like a hillside. And to me, this is a practical. It fits in your hand. It's my focus is on making something practical. I try not to charge a lot of money for it. Most of my soaps are priced at wholesale or close to wholesale. Typical bar of soap in a 4-ounce size sells for $6. I'm selling mine for less than that. But I also know that there's a lot of people out there doing it as a hobby, and they're selling theirs for just enough to make enough to buy the materials as a hobby. I'm actually doing this as a business. I'm trying to expand it. I'm trying to get a bigger shop to work in. Right now I'm working in my kitchen, and I don't have a kitchen. I just have a workshop. As you can see, I'm very limited on space, and I have a hard time keeping up with the volume of soap I make, just because I'm limited on space. A lot of people take this soap and they have bad acne, especially in the teenage years, and people have reported to me that it helps clear up the acne. It really pulls the oil out of your skin. Poison ivy, nothing better. Just rub it on, make kind of like a paste, and just leave it on like a lotion, and you may wash it every few hours, and it really pulls the oils out of your skin from the poison ivy, the poison oak. It doesn't really dry out your skin. I think that's kind of unique. That's an old wives' tale from this area. I live in the Appalachian Mountains, and one of the old timers told me about doing that. I thought he was out of his mind, but it actually works. People use it on their feet for athletes' feet, but I don't quite make it strong enough to be real effective at that, but it does help. Well, anyway, this is the 4 sections of making the lye soap. I tried to skip some of the mixing part because it's just standing around mixing it. There's lots of videos out how to mix the soap, and I don't need to really show you step by step and waste your time with that. But when I get it to a light pudding, or maybe a little bit thinner than that, I'll pour it in a mold, as you saw in the last video. And if you let it go too much, and sometimes if you add a synthetic fragrance, it'll seize on you and it'll turn to peanut butter in about a minute. And if I get a fragrance oil that does that, I discontinue that one because it just gives me a bad quality product. And sometimes the fragrance oil don't mix in the soap because it sets so fast. I had that happen with some type of cotton fragrance I had. There's several. It depends on the manufacturer too. But anyway, I suggest you buy just a little 1 ounce bottle of something to try it, and once you get your fragrances that you're comfortable with, that doesn't have any adverse reactions, that's the type of supplier I would stay with. I've had good luck with fragrances for soy candles. Never had a bad reaction with them. Some of the less expensive fragrances from some soap suppliers, they're just bad products. They'll seize up. I get comfortable with a few suppliers, and I stay with them. I try to buy all my lard from this large company I get it from. It comes in a 50-pound box. It's basically 12 inches square by 12 inches by 12 inches. And then I pour it into a bucket. It takes a 5-gallon bucket, fills up about 1.5. But I've got some 50-pound buckets now that hold about 8 gallons. Just to give you an idea of how to store your shortening your different oils. I usually buy everything in gallons, and then I have some little pint bottles that I pour it out of because I may only use just a little bit, or I may use half the bottle. It just depends. Well, anyway, this concludes this segment, and I'm going to be working on something different. It's going to take me probably a week to get all these videos uploaded. And thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more.